तेरे अगले दिन होते ही हैं दर्द।
Hello, very good afternoon to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, thank you very much. So, very good afternoon to everyone. So, there is little change in the schedule of the session. In the session, uh, we have a change speaker. So, due to some problem, our scheduled speaker is not available. So, in this session, we are going to listen Dr. Sapna Taneja, Assistant Professor, JC Bose University, Faridabad. Ma'am will talk on Industry 4.0 disruption and management approaches. So let me introduce about the ma'am. Ma'am is a passionate and innovative young professional with an exemplary academic record and a passion for continuous learning and professional development. Dr. Sapna Taneja is working as assistant professor in MBA under JC Bose University of Science and Technology, YMCA, Faridabad. She has more than 10 years of academia and industrial experience. She has done PhD from Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi as a qualified UGC NET JRF and MBA in HR and marketing from IMT Faridabad. Currently, she is carrying the responsibilities of Assistant Director, Alumni and Corporate Affairs, Assistant Training Placement Officer, along with her administrative and teaching duties. She is a passionate researcher too and has published numerous research papers in national and international journals. So I request, ma'am, please start the session.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope I am audible and my screen is visible too.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, but your voice is very low.
Okay. How is it now, sir?
Is it little okay, ma'am?
So is that audible or not?
Yes, audible. Please
Okay.
continue.
Fine, sir. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone. At the very outset, I would like to thank the organizers of this program for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and views. I would like to talk little different. Most of the participants must be talking about the technical or technological aspects of industry nowadays, and especially in this program. But I would like to draw the attention towards the management approaches for Industry 4.0, because we need to match with the pace of technological jumps by enhancing the climate of learning and innovation in the organizations. So Industry 4.0 is causing disruption, and I would like to touch the management and specifically in particularly human resource management perspective I would like to discuss upon. Organizations need to be smarter. They need intelligent employees nowadays, and they need climate for learning and innovation, which undoubtedly requires suitable management practices. Management for Industry 4.0 is indeed a very important issue, because there is a need for developing the capabilities if you really want to manage your business models and product portfolio. First, I would like to give a brief introduction of Industrial Revolution. Industry is basically an integral part of any economy of the world. Since the evolution of industrialization, industry has experienced a paradigm shifts due to the technological changes and innovations. And these paradigm shifts have been known as industrial revolutions. For example, the first industrial revolution is characterized by the mechanical machines, followed by the second one, which is described by the high use of electrical energy. And then this is further followed by the third industrial revolution, which is electronics and automation. But today, the economy is facing fourth industrial revolution, and we are appreciating it too, which is known as Industry 4.0. The concept of Industry 4.0 is marked by the increased digitization of the entire value chain of the production and the company. The consequences of the same is interconnection of people, interconnection of objects and systems through real-time exchange of data. I would also like to highlight the fourth industrial revolution is new and distinct. It is not merely an extension of the third revolution, but rather a new and distinct revolution. It is introducing technologies that are fading the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres across all the sectors. You all must be aware, since you all are from technical background, that the technologies like artificial intelligence and robotics, they all will drastically surpass any digital progress which has been made in last 60 years, and that create the reality which were absolutely unthinkable for the humans. These realities are disrupting, and they will keep on disrupting and changing the business models for each and every industry. Here are the glimpse in this slide are socio-economic triggers of the industry 4.0. There are a number of factors which are critical to industry 4.0, and this comprises of lack of skilled workforce, aging society, efficiency of resources which are scarce, pressure of clean urban production, mass customization due to increase in disposable income, due to increase in population growth, increasing demand of product variability, short product life cycles, dynamic chain, and cost reduction pressure. Overall, if I sum up, that the market today is more volatile than the past. So all these factors which have triggered, or all these challenges, they need specialized management approaches to cope up with these challenges. Even big economies are also facing such issues, like China is facing the challenge of clean urban production, Japan is facing the challenge of aging population. So they undoubtedly need some focus, they undoubtedly need changes in management approaches. So in such a volatile environment, companies are facing an increasing number of challenges to compete in such a globalized world, wherein the competition is coming from all over the world. So they need to enhance their innovative capacity, and the markets are more heterogeneous due to changing customer expectations day by day, because customers need customized products now. They need the products on demand. And customization and cost reduction, both are the challenges, but they cannot go hand in hand, because customization itself requires additional cost. So in order to fulfill those expectations, there is a need for qualification strategies for the current workforce, so that the employees of any company can take more strategic role, and they can carry out more creative activities. So in order to face these challenges, however, I'll be discussing them in detail in further slides. Just to give an overview, in order to face these challenges, the strategic management of employees' competency becomes essential. What is meant by competency, I'll be discussing in further slides. So through this lecture or presentation, I hereby going to present the development of a competency model, which shows that how the companies can make use of this model so that they can meet the arising challenges from industry 4.0. So how my lecture is organized is as follows. First, I'll be discussing that what are the general HR challenges company will have to face in industry 4.0 and even facing today as well. So as far as management approaches are concerned, I am particularly going to discuss about the HR perspective, human resource perspective, that what we need to do as far as making the employees more capable, enhancing their capacity. So first I'll be discussing the general challenges that HR is facing or companies will have to face in industry 4.0, followed by the list or description of the core competencies that the employees of any organization must possess today in order to fulfill their current as well as future job roles. In the third section of the session, I'll be discussing that how can this competency model help a company to maintain a well-qualified workforce so that they can meet the challenges which are arising from industrial revolution. And lastly, how can the competency model help a company to enhance the capacity of the employees? Firstly, I would like to set the background by pointing out the relevance of human resource management and the competency development of a company. Main challenges in Industry 4.0 shall be discussed. Then the identification, you can see in this model depicted in the slide. Firstly, we will be discussing the challenges, then the identification of the core competencies which are required to meet those challenges. Then these competencies have been reduced and duplications have been eliminated, and they have been categorized in 4 set of competencies. Then we'll be highlighting the potential applicability of the model, that how that model can be used for Industry 4.0, readiness analysis of employees, and how qualification strategies can be derived. So I'm just setting up a background by pointing out the relevance of human resource management with the corporate strategy. Why nowadays we are considering HR as a business partner in a company. Those were the days when people were considered as machines, and there was just a relationship of give and take between employer and employee. But nowadays, by the evolution of this area, companies and owners have also realized that people are the asset of any company, and therefore they are them as business partners, and they are aligning the strategies of human resource department with their overall business strategy, because they have acknowledged the fact that they are the capital. These are the people who make yourself distinct in the market, who can help the company to gain the competitive edge in the market. So any organization's performance and competitiveness, that to a large extent depends upon how these employees are managed. You must have seen a significant change. The companies used to manage their employees earlier, and now they are managing. Now they are taking care of each and every aspect of employees, because they have acknowledged the fact that the organization's performance and their competitive stance in the market greatly depends upon their people. So there is a concept which concerns all the activities as far as employing and managing people in the organizations are concerned. This is known as human resource management. Since the introduction of this function, essential functions of this concept were the deployment of human resources, as well as recruitment, selection, staffing, retention, and their release from the company. Another most important function is human resource development, which we are going to touch in this session. Focusing on all the activities which are related to your professional education, learning and training of individuals and teams. This function heavily influences the overall development of the organization, and therefore it affects current as well as the future performance of any organization. So these 3 points which have been pointed out in the slides are the main goals of human resource development or department of any organization. First is to develop the knowledge, skills, and competencies. Second is to improve individual and group performance and effectiveness. Third is to improve organizational performance and effectiveness overall. So there are 3 main functional areas as far as HRD is concerned. One is as an individual, your development, as a team development, and overall organizational development. So what should be the management approaches for Industry 4.0 so that they can match the pace of technological dives by enhancing the climate of learning and innovation? As I mentioned in my previous slides, that I'll be first discussing about the challenges which are arising out of industrial revolution. So these challenges have been described on the basis of PESTEL analysis, which is political, analyzing the environment or challenges from the political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal point of view. So first I'll discuss about the economic challenges. So absolutely no doubt, the Industry 4.0 creates many opportunities, new opportunities for the companies, but at the same time, several challenges are also arising from the ongoing automation and digitization. So economic challenges, as far as they are concerned, with the ongoing globalization and the processes, companies have to cope up with the shorter product life cycles. They need to cut the cost in order to stay competitive in the market. So classical business models are becoming obsolete and easily vulnerable to the new substitutes. So therefore, companies need to streamline their innovation processes. They need to transform their business models. They need to have continuous alertness that what new is happening in the market if they really want to strive in the market or really want to sustain in the market. A high level of service orientation is also increasing. In addition, customer expectations have shifted towards a high level of customization and flexibility. So consequently, as a result, overall market has become volatile and heterogeneous. So there is a need for collaboration than ever before in the past. So companies need to enter into strategic alliances with their suppliers, with their competitors, with their creditors, or all the stakeholders. So that further leads to the correlation of an entire value chain and its integration. So that ultimately all these factors or challenges ultimately result into the complexity of overall business processes. Second is social change. This is one of the most influencing change. And as far as social challenges are concerned, demographic change is the important area to be touched upon. Since less young people are entering the labor market to replace those who are retiring, and there is a need to develop strategies so that the young people can be attracted and knowledge from the older generation can be retained. In addition, the younger generation also has some contrary social values. So there is a growing good work-life balance, and that goes hand in hand as far as growing employee flexibility is concerned, because every time to employees on their toes, anytime they can be called upon by their bosses, by their companies, that they have to work, no matter it is a day, night, or weekend, or you are on a tour with your family. So increasing work flexibility also poses a challenge for maintaining good work-life balance. Additionally, the processes are also becoming more complex, as I already mentioned, which leads to an increase of jobs with higher level of qualifications and a losses of in jobs requiring lower qualifications. So there is a gap which has to be fulfilled. This is also posing another challenge. So companies need to qualify their existing employees for more strategic and creative roles, for taking on higher responsibilities. So this is the biggest challenge in front of human resource function of any organization. Coming to the technical aspect, as a result of exponential growth of technological companies, companies must be able to efficiently deal with huge amount of data, which is nowadays called big data. So extensive IT infrastructure, communication networks, they need to be built up and implemented to ensure unproblematic exchange of data between all the partners which are connected within a network. It is also necessary to develop open architecture which can enable or provide an enabling environment for collaborating work together on a different platform. But at the same time, the storage of large amount of data on external servers raises the additional problem of cybersecurity, because the data must be protected from to unauthorized parties. Since taking lives, the employees must further acquire skills to be prepared for working in increase in virtual work. This lockdown has been a recent or contemporary example of that why the people require skills to be preparing themselves for working in a virtual environment. Environment change is also posing another important challenge, which is undergoing a constant change. Conditions in biospheres are constantly changing, which has a profound impact on all the living organisms within this society and system. There is another challenge of utilizing the resources for production, because the resources are scarce and they belong to the nation. So there is continuous pressure on the organizations to use those resources efficiently so that the products can be produced with greater quality and less at lesser prices with minimum uses of natural resources. So companies recognize their role in driving the sustainable solutions. This is also another challenge which is uh, which is being confronted by the companies. Coming to the political and legal aspect, this is the most increasing need for funding of research programs. Government needs to support the organization with the development of not only the development of new technologies, but their integration and implementation of those technologies in the existing environments. Besides, growing work flexibility further requires the establishment of regulations from the government side for the employees as far as their work times and safety to protect the employees' interest is concerned. Related to their work time and scheduling, related to their working conditions in the company, related to their various interests and rights. So, on a further analysis of these challenges, it is possible to derive a list of essential core competencies for the employees. Before coming to that part, I would just like to define what is meant by competency here. Competencies are basically a set of skills, abilities, knowledge, attitude, motivation that any individual in the organization needs to cope up with their job related tasks and challenges. If the employees are possessing the required knowledge, skills, attitude, ability, sorry, and the motivation so that they can perform their job related tasks and challenges, meet the challenges effectively. So certain authors have identified the competencies and they have categorized these competencies into 4 categories. There is a list of competencies which we'll be discussing in further slides, and they have been categorized into technical, methodological, social, and personal categories. Technical competencies comprises of job related, as the name suggests, job related knowledge and skills. Secondly, methodological competencies include skills and abilities for general problem solving and decision making, irrespective of the area or domain you are into. Social competencies comprises of all the skills and abilities as well as attitude to cooperate and communicate with each other, because ultimately we are working in a social organization. Organizations are also social, and human is also social element. So we need to be continuously cooperate and communicate with people, with our team members, subordinates, our superiors. So we need to, employees of any organization irrespective of the domain, need to possess the social competencies as well. Yes, the importance of different categories of competencies may vary as per these jobs are concerned, so their weightage may vary accordingly. Lastly, the personal competencies are related to the individual traits like social values of any employee, his or her motivation level, his or her attitude towards various aspects of the work. Excuse me. And qualification, on the other hand, if we talk about, it is basically a process wherein we make some attempts in the organization or as an HR department function, wherein we develop the required set of competencies through various education programs or training program. So competency is basically a set of knowledge, skills, attitude, ability, and motivation. And qualification is basically a continuous process wherein we, through some education and training program, we try to develop the required set of competencies in people. So competency development and the qualification, they both interact as a continuous improvement cycle. Competency development aims to identify the required competencies and reveal the critical gap. And the purpose of qualification is to bridge these gaps available. So here we have derived through this presentation, I would like to draw your attention towards the derivation of various competencies which are required as far as various challenges are concerned. So economic, social, technical, environment, political challenges are there. And on the right side, various competencies have been depicted which are required to meet each and every challenge. For example, if I talk about economic challenges, due to high demand of service orientation, there is a need for employees to have conflict resolving competency. There is a need for employees to have good communication skills, because then only they will be able to provide better service to customers. There is a need to be able to compromise. There is a need to be possessing networking skills if you really want to deliver higher order of services to your customers. Then if I talk about, for example, social challenges, I would not discuss each and every one. If I talk about social challenges, we had already discussed in the previous slides that amongst these social challenges, there is demographic change and changing social values taking place, wherein we had discussed about increasing disposable income of people and a higher need for good work-life balance. So in order to meet those challenges, and demographic change, wherein we had discussed that younger force, there is a need to attract the younger force in the organization, and there is also a need to retain the knowledge from the older people. So if you really want to retain the knowledge from the older people and you want to transfer the knowledge from older to younger generation, there should be an ability to transfer that knowledge. Person should be able to accept work task rotation, work related changes like ambiguity in the work, and he or she must possess that tolerance, time and place flexibility, leadership skills. When we talk about working in virtual environment is concerned, one should have time and place flexibility, technology skills, media skills, and understanding IT security too. When we talk about growing complexity of processes due to Industry 4.0, people should also possess technical skills. They should have strong understanding of the processes. They also should have motivation to learn, decision making and problem solving skills, analytical skills too. As far as technical challenges are concerned, because there is an exponential growth of technology and usage of huge data, so people should possess technical skills, analytical skills. You must be noticing that there is a repetition or duplication of the competencies, that the analytical skills and technical skills are required to meet social challenges, and these two competencies are also required to meet technical challenges as well. So this is the first stage wherein we are just listing down the core competencies in context of Industry 4.0. Then in the next step, we will also remove the duplication and categorize all the competencies into 4 categories. Then further, the next part will highlight the visualization of these identified core competencies, how these identification can help us to make the people ready for the meeting the challenges which are posed by Industry 4.0. So we will present that how the model can be implemented in Industry 4.0 and how the model can be implemented in Industry 4.0.
Sorry for the inconvenience. It seems our speaker has network problem and has disconnected. So I am contacting the speaker and she will join very soon. Sorry for the inconvenience. So the speaker has joined the session. Ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry for the inconvenience caused to everyone.
It's okay, ma'am. There is a network problem always there. So please continue.
Since we are not ready for such technological infrastructure, so these problems keep coming. So I was discussing about the competencies which are required for individuals in order to meet different categories of challenges. So I was discussing the last political and legal challenge, wherein there is a need for data security and personal privacy, as well as there is a need to protect the interest of employees from the government side. And there is also a need to support the organizations for new inventions. So these challenges also require skills in people, that they should possess technical coding skills, they should have process understanding. Again, this process understanding is repeated in political and in order to meet political and legal challenge as well as technical challenge. So they should have strong understanding of IT security and the compliances of the government or the laws of the land. So this is basically a list which has been derived to meet different categories of challenges arising out of industrial revolution. Further, since there was a duplication of competencies, one competency is required to meet one type of challenge and the same is required to meet the another type of challenge as well. So there is a need to cluster those identified competencies into the predefined groups which have been identified by the literature, so that we can ensure the further clarity and transparency of the model. For this purpose, an aggregation of previously defined competencies list is required to remove the potential duplications. So this step comprises of the clustering of competencies into four identified main categories of competencies which are depicted in this slide. So after having all the competencies identified, aggregated and categorized into four categories, which is personal competency, social competency, methodological and technical competencies. So you can see in the slide that on the left side, categories of competencies mentioned. In the middle, various competencies have been set of various competencies have been put into different categories, and on the right side the context has been provided that why this certain category of competence is required. Since there is a need for coding skills, because growth of digitized processes creates a higher need for employees with coding skills. There is a need for decision making, because employees will own higher process responsibility, they have to make their own decisions. Nowadays management is adopting different set of approaches. The management is seeking participation of employees into decision making, so that they can have a feel of ownership, therefore they can be considered as business partner, and they can be motivated by taking their participation in the decision making. Any other, if we talk about for that matter communication skills, because there is a need for service orientation, so good listening, speaking and presentation skills are required. Whereas increasing virtual work requires, so we should also have sufficient virtual communication skills too. If we talk about ability to transfer the knowledge, companies need to retain knowledge within the company, especially with the current demographic change, and explicit and tacit knowledge needs to be exchanged. So the right side provides you the picture or paints the picture of the context, that why this particular competency or this particular set of competency is required. So this gives you a flavor of context. So in this slide, basically we have reduced and categorized the previous identified core competencies of the employees, which they must possess. Next, after doing these two steps, the competency model also needs to be visualized. So this step will further increase the transparency so that we can understand the competency requirement, and we can also help the user or the company or the HR management function, that they can detect the competency gap, that where actually any individual stands as far as particular skill, knowledge or ability is concerned, and which is the benchmark one should also possess as far as his particular role or his particular job is concerned, because various jobs require various set of competencies. So weightage and importance of each competency may vary as far as different jobs are concerned. So after having identification and categorization, there is a need to visualization, there is a need of visualization. So this basically visualization is based upon the concept of radar chart, which is used to display the multivariate data into two-dimensional chart. The characteristics, they are commonly used for gap analysis, and therefore this is a convenient instrument which can help us to visualize this competency model. There should be a couple of components. One is the required competencies, which we have already listed. Second is the scale, that where an individual actually stands, what is the level of the competency he or she is possessing. Then the third one is a required scale value for each competence, and as I already mentioned, that this required scale value or benchmark or any standard for particular competency may vary as far as different jobs are concerned. For that matter, for a technical person, coding skills are more important than the communication skills, and for a person who is more into providing these services and who is more into the direct contact with the customer, he or she must possess the good communication skills. So as far as communication skill as a competency is concerned, weightage for different roles is differing. So for looking these factors into consideration, we need to have a required scale value for each competency. Then in addition to those components, the actual measured value will also be illustrated in the radar chart, which is based upon the performance. For that matter, we can use various instruments like survey, observation, feedback, etc. So this allows us to measure the gap which is between the required competency level and the measured competency level, what an individual is possessing and what he or she must possess, what ought to be there. So most important competencies for industry 4.0 we already identified, and a scale needs to be defined in the next step. Widely used scale for competency level measurement consists of 5 levels, which may be varying from non-existent to the outstanding level one is possessing. So you can see from the chart that there is a area which is green, and there is an area which is red or pink. This level shows, the green level shows the level of competency which an individual is possessing, and the red or green area symbolizes the minimum required competence level for each competency. So as compared to this, green level indicates the actual competency level which has been evaluated, on which an employee has been evaluated. So if the red area is visible at any point, that would reveal a competency gap. That means a person is not having that particular competency, not possessing that particular competency which is required to meet that challenge arising out of industrial revolution. So depending upon the red area, we can intervene and we can introduce some qualification strategies as a human resource management function or as an organization. We can intervene suitable qualification strategy so that the competencies may be developed and this gap may be bridged or closed or fulfilled. So as far as this social competency category is concerned, you can see at the bottom of the chart, all the competencies are revolving and clustered around the social competence, and particularly in this category there is a more area which is red, and within this social competency the more red area is upon language and communication skills. That means the people are not possessing language and communication skills up to the mark. There is a significant level of difference between the required set of competency and between the actual value. So management, this is the practical implication of this model that management can draw upon. Then there is a need to fill this gap first. So employees are not possessing these skills, so what should be the qualification strategies so that this gap can be bridged upon? So this is how this competency model is helpful in bridging the gap and meeting the challenges posed by Industry 4.0. So lastly, I would like to highlight the potential use of developed competency model in a formal way. That the purpose of basically the depiction which has been done in the last slide was to illustrate that how the developed competency model can be used in practice in the organization. First, it can be used for an employee readiness analysis. The developed model enables us or companies to conduct a competency gap analysis for the required competencies in Industry 4.0. This is a tool which has been designed to assess the individual employees, and further, it needs to be considered that the assessment of employee on actual value should be conducted by the expert, so that the biases, because this is a subjective analysis and there is a chance for biasness, so that evaluation or assessment should be conducted by an experienced person, so that the biases are minimized and results can be obtained consistently across all the job levels, across all the employees. So firstly, the model's competencies need to be weighted accordingly, according to the department, according to the job profile or the employee which is to be assessed. So the model shows the most important competency. However, every job profile requires slightly different advancement level for each competency, as I have given the example of coder and the salesperson. Therefore, the required scale value for each individual competence needs to be adjusted in the assessment. Secondly, the assessment of employees can be initiated, and therefore the expert should make use of standardized competency assessment so that the biases are minimized. That can be done through survey, through monitoring, personal observation. There are a lot of methods which can be discussed upon. And then those results are needed to be compiled and transferred into the defined model. Having all these requirements defined and all the competencies of the employees evaluated, the model will reveal all the gaps which are there in the people of any organization. That shows that how ready your employees are for the job in Industry 4.0. That shows the readiness of the people of your organization. It is also possible to identify the most critical gaps at the first sight. There are competencies human resource development needs to focus upon. As I have given the example of social competencies wherein the large gap is visible. So we can also, depending upon the gap which is visible in the radar chart, we can also define tailored qualification strategies. As I already mentioned, that the qualification is the process wherein, with the help of some education and training programs, we try to qualify our people, we try to make them prepare for meeting the challenges, we try to make them ready for performing their jobs effectively and efficiently. When I talk about effectively, that means they are able to achieve their goals. When I talk about efficiently, that means those goals are achieved with the utmost efficiency. That means by using minimum resources, by incurring minimum cost and producing highest level of quality. This is the ultimate goal of any organization. So the focus should be first put upon the largest competency gap, since they are the weak spots for any employees to cope up the challenges posed by the changes or technological drives. So ordinarily, if I talk about qualification strategies, ordinarily, if I talk about the qualification strategies, they comprise different methods and techniques such as trainings, educations, so that the specific competencies can be built up. Therefore, a company must define some actions in advance for using this model, so that the employees does not reach the if the employee does not reach the required scale level for a competency, it is not triggered. So this model basically presents the suitable training programs for any employee. I'd like to conclude and discuss the future scope as well. In the first part of this contribution, a comprehensive list was prepared so that we can make our people ready for working in digitized and interconnected world. So the list was compiled. Even though the every job requires different requirements, the identified competencies are all the identified competencies are becoming progressively important, and they need to be addressed by the management and the organization. So here the philosophy of top management comes into picture, that what is their attitude and what is their philosophy towards their people. If they really want their people as an asset of the organization, and they understand the matter of fact that they are the one who can help them to gain distinct edge or competitive edge in the market, then they would definitely focus on this area. So in addition, I guess someone is raising hand. Okay, this is related to attendance. So it is very much clear that that in the industry 4.0, organizations will face many economical, social, technological challenges, which really requires dynamic capabilities in people, and which really requires an innovative workforce or manpower of the company. So it becomes extremely important here to discuss how the organization can enhance their capabilities, which leads to the innovation, so that they can match the requirement of industry 4.0 by developing a continuous climate of learning and innovation, which will ultimately enhance the organizational capacities and capabilities. So this was from my side. I touched a different part of industry 4.0, and I touched the human side of automation and digitization. Thank you so much for lending me a patient ear. This is audience round now.
Thank you, Dr. Sapna. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time and sharing. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, I'm thankful so much for sharing your valuable time with us and sharing this interesting topic, where some research questions have also been discussed with the participants, which have a numerous perspective and research opportunities. So if suppose we make a hypothesis on these research questions, then a lot many research papers can be written on these things. So being an industrial guy, we also understand the objective of this lecture. So I again thank you, Dr. Sapna, and I open this session to all the participants. If they have any questions or any queries, they can ask now in the chat box. So Dr. Sapna will answer. All right. So as we are not receiving any questions in the chat box, so again, we are all thankful to you, Dr. Sapna. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again in the coming STTs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So I request every participant to please fill your attendance of this session. I have shared the link soon. So please be engaged with the session and mark your attendance.
हेलो।
हेलो, हाँ जी सर।